Hello and welcome. You have made it to the right place if you're looking for some spinal love, rejuvenation, and nourishment. Let's begin in a comfortable seat with our hands at Anjali Mudra Heart Center. Starting practice with a moment of gratitude for being able to move our bodies, the opportunity we have to breathe our breath. And we'll bring our hands down to our knees, palms face down for grounding. Feel the hips rooted into the mat as you lift up tall through the spine. Take a few really deep breaths, tracing the breath as it enters and exits your nostrils. Let your breath be your only focus, your drishti, single pointed focus. From seated position, we'll move into these flowy cat and cows, concentrating the movement in our upper chest. We'll roll from cow position, shining our heart forward, over to one side, through cat, around the other side, and back into cow position. Let's do these 2 to 3 more times, inviting in any organic movement. Letting the circle, the rotation be as large or as small as you'd like, as you need. Starting to invite the arms into the motion, into the movement. And when it feels natural, switch directions. Drawing the torso in a circle with the focus being on the upper chest and the upper back. Get another time or two. Take one final round here and we will meet in a neutral spine. Bring the arms out to a T on an inhale, and on your exhale, start to round through the spine. Bring the arms towards one another till the palms meet. Once they gently tap each other, begin to open on the inhale once more, shining your heart forward. Before exhaling, tuck the chin to the chest, reach the hands forward. One more at the pace of your own breath. Take your time. When the palms come to touch, interlace the hands. Turn the palms face out. Really pushing through those palms. On an inhale, lift your hands to the sky. Stretching through the side body before exhaling, rounding through the chest, through the upper back. Let's lift up. One breath, one movement. Exhale, round, chin to chest. Focus your attention in the place that you're feeling the sensations arise. Let's lift. On an inhale. Exhale, hands over to the right side of the mat for a side body stretch. Keep that left hip rooted into the mat. Inhale for center. Exhale, left side. Deep breath into that right side body. Come back to a neutral spine. Release the grip with the hands and find prayer behind the head. Elbows are reaching towards the back of the mat. And take a couple of deep breaths into the upper chest, using the breath as a tool to create space, both mentally and physically. When you're ready, reach the hands up towards the sky, active arms. Bring the right hand down to the ground for an even deeper side body stretch as you reach the left fingertips over to the opposite side of the mat. Open your heart to the ceiling. Notice how that shifts the sensations of the stretch. And close your chest to the ground. Drop your left hand to the opposite knee for a seated twist. Hook your right hand at the low back and keep your shoulders stacked over your hips. Take a couple of deep breaths, creating that space. We'll come back through center, left hand over to the ground, right hand reaches up and over for a side body stretch. Right hip rooted into the ground, open your chest to the ceiling. Really reaching with that top hand, and close the chest to the ground. Drop the right hand to the opposite knee. Left arm hooks at the low back. Lift up tall. With each inhale, feel yourself lifting. And with each exhale, feel yourself twisting just a bit more. Come back through center. Let's roll over the shins and find Balasana. Big toes touch, knees are wide. Sink your hips to your heels. And then start to walk your hands forward, leading with your heart. Dropping your chest to the floor. Reaching through the arms towards the top of the mat. Invite your breath into this pose. Allowing the faculties of the mind to really start to still and slow down, shifting from a place of judgment to a place of observation. Still in Balasana, lift onto your fingertips, deepening the stretch for a few more breaths. Feeling the length being created in the side body. Feeling the arms active and engaged. Before dropping the palms back down to the mat. Bring the palms to touch and take a bend at the elbows for prayer behind the head. And really start to connect back to that intention of spinal healing, rejuvenation, nourishment. And really tap into what it is that your spine, your body wants to communicate with you. When you're ready, extend the hands towards the top of the mat, and we'll lift up into tabletop position, finding correct alignment, hips stacked over knees, shoulders stacked over wrist. Let's take those same fluid cat and cows that we did when we were seated. Flowing from cow over to one side, into cat, and down the other side. We'll do it 3 times on each side. Inviting your breath into the movement. Inviting in any other organic movement. When it feels natural, switch directions. Really dropping the belly button as you come through cow and pushing the ground away as you come into cat. Take it one more time. We'll meet in cat pose, pushing through the hands, tucking the chin to the chest, really rounding through the spine. Let's lift up onto the fingertips. Take a deep round of breath into the upper back and chest. And when you are ready, bring the palms back down to the ground, find a neutral spine. On an in-breath, drop the belly for a cow, shine your heart to the front of the room, and on an exhale, round through the spine and start to sink your hips towards your heels. Inhale, belly button to ground, cow pose. Exhale, round, push, 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 and sink your hips down towards your heels. One breath, one movement. Inhale for cow. Look forward. Exhale, round, push, and sink. Hold, take a breath here with the hips seated on top of the hips. Roll forward. Begin to tuck the toes, stretching into the bottoms of the feet. And lift the knees off the mat, hover them a couple inches. On your next exhale, find Adho Mukha Svanasana. The backside of your body is tight. Take a bend in the knees, slightly lifting the heels off the mat to help drop your chest towards the ground. Your body is active, head to toe. We'll begin to take some rolling and down dogs, where we'll come high on our toes, shift our weight forward until our shoulders are stacked over our wrists, and rolling back into downward facing dog. Inhale high on the toes, roll forward, Shoulders stack over the wrists, you drop your knees to the ground and lift your hips high to the sky. Let's do that again. Roll forward, shoulders stack, knees drop. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Taking 2 more. Full somatic release. Releasing any physical and emotional tension stored in the body. We'll meet in downward facing dog, where you can start to walk your legs out, taking a bend in one knee and then the other, but knowing there's no rush. Take your time, deep bend in one knee, and then the other. We'll take one more on each side, this time holding at the bottom. So let's all drop our left heel to the ground, deep bend in the right knee, and switch sides. Right heel makes contact with the floor as you take a deep bend through that left knee. Allow it to make contact with the torso before dropping both heels to the ground. Dropping the knees to the ground will give the wrists and arms a break. Find Anahatasana or puppy pose, walking your hands forward, keeping your hips stacked over your knees and untucking the toes. Visualize the armpits reaching down towards the ground as you create length from the fingertips to the hips. Take a couple of rounds of breath here, and as you inhale, feel your chest lift, rise only slightly off the ground. And as you exhale, feel the release through the upper back, all the way down to the tailbone, and we'll lift up onto the fingertips, similar to how we did in Balasana. Taking a couple more deep breaths as you feel this line of energy from your fingertips to your hips. And bring the palms back down to the ground for prayer behind the head. Taking a bend at the elbows. Gently push the upper chest down towards the ground for a self-assist. Extend the arms towards the top of the mat. If you have the space, you can drop your chin rather than your forehead to the ground, still keeping your hips stacked over your knees. If this doesn't feel good, feel free to bring the forehead back down to the ground. All together, let's start to roll forward, bringing the hips and the low belly down to the ground as you extend through the hands, through the arms, opening the chest to the front of the room, before lowering the arms down to the ground for sphinx pose. With the shoulders stacked over the elbows, traction back through the hands to help pull the heart space forward, to lead with the heart. Look over to the right side, come through center and over to the left side. Back through center, chin to chest. Through center, look up towards the sky. Imagine that you're reaching the chin up towards the ceiling. And back through center, let's turn our head towards our right shoulder, over to the left shoulder. Tap the chin to the chest. Look up to the sky without crunching into the neck. And let's do that one more time at your own pace. Noticing if you need to linger a little bit in one place more than another, and feeling free to do so. And we will relax the arms, bring one ear down to the ground, and surrender the whole weight of your body to the floor. Just feel the weight of your body as it rests on top of the ground. Maybe you start to hear your heartbeat, feel your heartbeat in your chest. Maybe you feel the sensation of breath as your body rises and falls against the ground. Another moment or two to tune into the senses. Notice the bodily processes going on all the time. We'll lift up into Sphinx pose once more. Shoulders are stacked over the elbows, knees are lifted off the mat as we engage through the legs. Let's find a few rounds of cat and cow here in Sphinx. We'll lift the belly off the mat as we tuck our chin to our chest, rounding through the upper back. And inhale, drop the belly button to the floor. Lift the head, crown of the head towards the sky, and open through the heart. Exhale, lift belly button, round through the spine. Inhale, roll forward. Heart opens to the front of the room. And again, rounding through the spine, chin to the chest, round, round, round. Inhale, open heart. Feel free to lift the elbows, the forearms off the mat now as you push through your hands. Bring the hands directly underneath the shoulder this time. Tuck the toes into high plank. And lift the hips for Adho Mukha Svanasana. Belly button to spine. Strong arms. We'll build on our last flow, this time moving from Adho Mukha Svanasana, coming high on the toes, rolling forward, and arriving in Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. Untuck the toes, come onto the tops of the feet, and we'll begin to lift the hips high to the sky, staying on the tops of the feet here, so we stretch to the tops of the ankles. If that's too much, feel free to do one at a time. And we'll tuck the toes, sink the hips towards the ground, and repeat that all over again in just a moment. Inhale, high on the toes, roll forward, shoulders stack, hips drop to the ground, open heart to the front of the room, untuck the toes, crown of the head reaches to the sky, and Adho Mukha Svanasana. Exhale fully, deeply, audibly if you need to, staying on the tops of the feet as long as you'd like before tucking those toes once more. Let's take one more of these at the pace of your own breath. Meeting in Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And filling up with air before rolling back into Balasana, Child's Pose, sinking your hips on top of your heels, taking a couple of nourishing breaths. Prana, life force energy. Take a bend at the elbows, soften the arms. Relax through the forehead, the temples, the jaw. Fully supported by the ground. Noticing how 20 minutes is more than enough to heal, rejuvenate, and nourish the spine. We'll take one last pose, Utkatasana, Camel pose. Lifting onto the knees, bring your hands to the low back. Squeeze your elbows in towards one another as you start to push your hips towards the front of the mat. This is enough. Stay here. If you want more, you can open your chest towards the ceiling. Look up towards the sky. Strong neck. Abdomen is engaged. You're really pushing through those hips. Last variation. Drop the hands to the heels. Still breathing. If you can't breathe, take a seat, pause, and come back. Let's all lift up. Sink our hips to our heels, hands on top of our knees. We'll end practice with a minute or two of reflection, silent contemplation, observing the quality of mind, of body, of breath. letting go of any sense of anticipation or rush, allowing yourself to be fully engulfed in this moment. When you feel complete, bring one hand to your heart and one hand to your belly. Feel the flow of prana underneath your hands. Breath in your lungs, blood flowing through your veins. Stay here as long as you'd like. And to seal practice in honor of one another, in honor of the yogic lineage, sending you all the love in the world.